Welcome to this year's Christmas Maker project. I've already published some videos on Christmas Raspberry Pi projects this year, but there have been updates on existing projects, such as my Christmas lights and creating a PCB for my Christmas house. This is a new project based around the Raspberry Pi SnowPi RGB. The SnowPi RGB is a printed circuit board which fits onto the Raspberry Pi with LEDs that you can program from the Pi. This is a significant upgrade on the previous SnowPi, as it now includes multicolour RGB LEDs instead of the fixed colours on the previous version. The SnowPi includes examples of how you can use it as a Christmas decoration, but I wanted to do something a bit more adventurous. With the older version I turned it into a badge, but for this one I've instead gone for an interactive game controlled with a joypad. I've also created another version of the game which can be run on different computers, not just the Raspberry Pi, and which doesn't need any of the additional hardware. The game is played with a joystick or controller, but could also be played with a keyboard. I'll give you a quick demonstration before giving you some details of how it works. I'm using this wired joypad, but you can use different kinds of joypads, joysticks or controllers, which I'll explain later. I'll be using the four coloured buttons on the right hand side of this, which are the X for the start game, Y for the right eye, it's the LED on the left as you look at it, A for the left eye, which is the LED on the right, and the B key for the nose. At the moment it's just showing random colours for the body, but when the game starts it will all be white except for one LED coloured green, which will move around. The aim of the game is to press the appropriate joypad button when an eye or the nose is lit, and which scores a point. The aim is to get as many points as possible without missing an LED or pressing the button at the wrong time. It starts slowly and then gets faster as the game progresses. Let's have a go and see what it's like to play. So press X to start. Straight away it went to one of the eyes. The green LED is just going to hit a random position each time. If I get it right, then the eye will turn blue or the nose will turn orange, and then it carries on. Each time it's moving a bit faster. Oh, missed that one. So I scored 6 points that time, which are marked by the red LEDs at the end. Let's have another game. Oops, that's good, that game. Try again. Not bad, 4 points. As I say, you can also play without the SnowPi RGB and without the controller, but you need to run a slightly different program. I'll show you all that in a minute. Here we are on the Raspberry Pi. You might notice a controller icon up in the top. This is QJoypad, which is what we're using to handle the joystick controls. I'll explain a little bit more of that in a second. So first I'm going to launch it. I've just running it from the command line from now. I've created a directory, SnowPi-RGB-game, and I need to run this as root because the NeoPixels, the RGB LEDs, need root access for the library. If you're running the non-SnowPi version, then you don't need that. So I'll run it as root here, sudo, and then it's a Pygame Zero application, so it's pgz run, and then the program is called snowpi-game.py. And here it is, and we've got our snowman, and you see his LEDs that are shown on him are changing, and they're changing to the same colours as on the PCB. So this is showing exactly what is showing on the PCB. and it's updated in real time. So you can actually play just by looking at the screen or by looking at the PCB. Now, as you said, the controls are X to start, which it tells you there. So if you press the X button on the keyboard or on the controller, once the controller is set up, you'll see the LEDs move around. And as you'll see, it's behaving exactly the same as the PCB is. And the only extra feature on here is that it shows you your score as you're going along, and also at the end. Other than that, it's exactly the same. As you can see, it's written in Pygame Zero. It's got keyboard controls, and it looks for the key presses. And to be able to do that using a controller or joypad is based around this QJoypad. It detects the joysticks, and there's only one joystick on here which is selected, and then you configure a layout. Right, left click that, it brings up the existing layout, and basically what I've done is I've mapped the 4 buttons that I'm using to the 4 key presses. So every time you press a button on those, then the appropriate key signal will be sent to the application. I've already created another video on this, so I'll drop that in the description or on this video, so you can go and have a look at that if you want to understand more about how to set this up. And that's it for the full game. To be able to run this on another computer, so if you've got a Windows computer, or if you don't have the actual PCB, then you can just use this version. So if I just have a look, it's called SnowPi Game. So it doesn't need sudo, but you do need to still use the PGZ run for Pygame Zero. And it's got SnowPi Game. And as you'll see, it looks exactly the same. It just doesn't try to light up the LEDs, and it doesn't look for the libraries which will be missing if you're not on a Raspberry Pi. As before, you can still use the controller as long as you've got QJoypad set up. And I've closed it on here, so I'll just relaunch that. It's in games. Make sure it's set back up. Yeah. There we go. Bit slow that time. Okay, so that's it. And if you go into the description, there's links to my website. Be on penguintutor.com, and you can download the code and have a play yourself, or if you want to delve into the Pygame Zero code and have a go at improving it or making your own version, and it's also available on GitHub as well. I hope you enjoy that. Bit of a festive program I've created for this time of year. If you don't already subscribe to my channel, please consider doing so if you're interested in any maker projects, particularly around Raspberry Pi, electronics, and I'm sure I'll be doing some more Pygame Zero projects as well in future. And I hope you have a happy Christmas.